I'm Mark Hoyer, and I have the exquisite opportunity to be here with two exceptional Ducati motorcycles. This is a 1972 Ducati 750 Imola. It is the very beginning for Ducati's leap into V-twin superbikes. It defined the brand for decades, and in fact, it still defines the brand through having desmodromic valves and being a racing-oriented motorcycle. When you see this motorcycle and you realize that this is the one that led to everything else that Ducati's done ever since in the ensuing decades, is what makes this motorcycle so special and important. In the late 1960s and early 70s, Ducati was on shaky financial ground. They needed a new product to maintain relevance with the customer and have something to sell in the new era of superbikes. Honda CB750 had come out. There was a clear thirst in the marketplace for larger displacement, high-performance motorcycles, and this bike was Ducati's answer. They made 8 of these motorcycles. We have photographs in the Cycle World Archives that show 8 of these bikes at the factory. Ducati was a kind of quirky single-cylinder manufacturer. They were building 250s, 350s, but they saw the world changing, and they put this bike together to race in the Imola 200. Ducati's legendary engineer, Dr. Taglioni, Dr. T, decided they needed a motorcycle that didn't vibrate. They tried parallel twins, and they vibrated like crazy. So this bike, they made a 90-degree V-twin. They just took the cylinder and set it out, and you got perfect primary balance, they call it. So it was incredibly smooth. And they were able to rev it very high RPM. In fact, Paul Smart, who won the race on a bike like this, was shocked when they told him he could rev it to 9,500 RPM. This is a guy who had grown up racing British motorcycles. They rev 2,000 RPM lower sometimes. So it was a really big technical leap for Ducati. And they showed up and they took on the world. They took on MV Agusta and they finished 1-2 in the Imola 200, changing the course of the company. So when you have one of 8 motorcycles, one of 8 racing motorcycles that define the course for a brand like Ducati, the opportunity to buy one of these is incredibly rare. None of these has ever publicly traded hands. These have all been private sales. This will be the first time that a 750 Imola racer is coming to an auction. V-twin, desmodromic valve operation, tube frame, it was all defined by this motorcycle, and it led to this motorcycle, which captured the hearts and minds of American consumers in particular. So this is a 1974 Ducati 750 Supersport. It's a direct result of the 1972 Imola 200 race bike. It's the high-performance version of that for the street and for the consumer. This layout, the fairing, the tube frame, bevel-driven overhead cams, desmodromic valve operation, and a 90-degree V-twin. This was the bike that Formula 750 and early superbike racers started to modify and use to race on a national level. And in fact, a version of this motorcycle was raced by Cook Nelson and Phil Schilling of Cycle magazine. And they took an Italian superbike to win at Daytona in 1977, the first time Ducati had won at Daytona. So in all the years of looking at motorcycles, riding motorcycles, testing motorcycles, private collections, auctions, I've never seen a 750 Supersport as original as this. To be in the presence of this bike and to look at the fading of the paint, the colors, the original dealer sticker, the way the chrome is, the Aprilia headlight, the dash is exceptional. This has the vibe that you want as a collector, or certainly that I would want as a collector. Every piece and every finish screams history and a life well lived. I have spent my career looking at motorcycles, old motorcycles, new motorcycles, riding, testing. I have never seen a 74 Ducati 750 SS that is as original and beautiful as this bike is. It brought the spirit of racing to the consumer who would buy it on the street. It had the full fairing, it had the clip-ons. Everything about it screamed racetrack. So it's a super rare opportunity to get a chance to own a bike like 750 Imola, but you also would have the chance to get a 1974 Ducati Supersport, the bike that was inspired by the race bike. Someone would have the opportunity to own both of these bikes that so defined Ducati's ensuing decades. These two exceptional Ducatis will be at Mecum Auctions Monterey 2026, August 13th to 15th. Register to bid now for your chance to own these bikes.